Hey guys, this is Ender from Altius, here with our first war recap video. This was our 120th war, and was our 93rd win against We Love Myanmar. This was also the first war that we had after merging with a clan called War Pigs. They were a clan that we faced about 4 or 5 wars ago, so happy to have them. Welcome to Altius. If you look, we were 2 stars shy of getting the perfect war, but did walk away with the win. And we'll take a look at how they did on our bases. They used most of their attacks, and most of them were go wipe, so it wasn't that close of a war, but we still got a good value out of it. They 3-starred all of our Town Hall 8s, and they got, I think it was 6 of our Town Hall 9s. A lot of those were 8.5, so it wasn't crazy close. I think our first true Town Hall 9 was I think it was Fury, so nothing crazy on their end. We had a solid war. We 3-starred their 1 Town Hall 10, their number 1, and 3-starred all but 2 of their Town Hall 9s. We just kind of were running low on attacks toward the end, and had 2 of them slip through the cracks. But pretty solid war. We're happy that after merging with another clan, we had a really solid outing for our first time. So let's take a look at some attacks. So first one we have up is the Truth going against their number 1. The Truth was one of the War Pigs from before, so happy to have him with us. So he's going to be coming in with basically a Valk heavy Govaho, and he's going to open it up with Quakes. I think the one criticism I'd have of this is he could have probably used a jump there and at least had the 2 poison spells. Wouldn't have been a huge deal. It really didn't affect the raid a whole lot. But the one thing I'll mention with these bases, they're meant to be really hard to funnel into, but after the update with Valks being so popular and being so much more effective than they used to be, Valks can really funnel into these well because of how dense that core is. Every single building has at least 2 or 3 touching it. The Town Hall has, I think, 6 touching it, and it's just a really big magnet for Valk. So if you notice, he doesn't really even funnel it all that much. He just sends them in, rages them up, and knows that they're going to go into that core because everything's pulling them in there. And I guess the only other thing I'd mention that he probably could have done was release those hogs a little bit earlier, just to keep those cannons and outer defenses from targeting in. But if you look, Valks under Rage just do damage so quickly that even Infernos can't build up enough damage on them to really make it matter. So by the time the Valks get through there, which happens in 30 seconds at most, the base is pretty much done. He still has his queen hanging back and has to break through a wall a little later, but he has a max golem still up, he still has a few hogs, and even a couple Valks, so he's going to get through this pretty quickly. So it was cool to see him do this on a fresh hit. Definitely a solid job, and great job. So just wait for him to get through the rest of these trash buildings, and they'll be a 3-star. Then next up, we're going to drop down a few spaces. This is going to be another one of our members from War Pigs, Yi, coming in on their number 5. This is another Govaho, a little less heavy on the Valks, but what I really liked about this was he used quad quakes really well. He's going to get a lot of value for those and having those compartments open the entire raid. And he also exploits there's a little hole in the base there to let his Valks run into the core. And even though it seems like kind of a small deal, having the ability for them to path through there, especially with all the trash buildings out on that side to draw them out, it makes a big difference. So he's just going to have his golem wizards and heroes come in, take out the CC troops, and then once they get down, he's going to have his Valks come in, and then watch his hog deployment. To me, the best part about this raid was how quickly he sends his hogs in once everything's being tanked, and he basically sends it on every single defense that's in there so that he doesn't have to use any spells on his hogs until the very end. Nothing's targeting him. So we have the archer tower, we have the cannons, we have everything all targeting inward, and by the time that they start redirecting onto the hogs, they're pretty much all in their last breaths and about to go down. So if you look, he has all of the spells used up, has one of them left for his hogs, but basically everything's been done. He has double giant bombs triggered, and the last set isn't even going to be worth a whole lot because it's already been triggered, one of them. And he just does a great job picking the base apart and really bringing it down just by the sheer force of it and the speed of the attack. So we'll start fast forwarding as they go through, but he has a ton of hogs left. Valks, his queen is almost full health, so really solid job. Alright, next up we have Neon hitting number 13 members, so glad to see him still doing well. This one was one that I actually attacked and messed up on. Did a fairly similar attack plan, but he brought Valks and I just went with a Goho. And I ran out of cleanup troops, mostly because of the Teslas that are going to be down here. But he does a great job fixing the problems that I had, which were basically my hogs running out of steam at the very end and not having enough for cleanup. So he starts out his queen walk. He's going to get a lot of value from it, mostly by being able to take out the enemy queen, a few defenses, and the CC. If you're going to put a dragon in the CC, I'm really happy when people put in archers instead of loons. It just makes the CC pull harder, that way it's at least slightly less predictable. But Neon did use a good poison to kind of slow down the damage on the queen and take out some of the smaller troops that were in the CC, but does have to use a rage on the dragon. He's going to bring in Valks from that northwestern section and bring them in to take out the core and mostly those Teslas down there, which was a great change to the plan that I had. Just because Valks have so much more tanking ability than hogs do, and the fact that the core is so dense, they're able to do a lot more. Now, one thing I do want to point out, this jump spell. Most people, I don't think, realize how wide a jump spell can span. If you're trying to span an entire compartment, the largest that you can do is going to be a set of walls with 6 spaces in between them, and then the other set of walls. So they can effectively span 8 tiles. As long as there's 6 tiles in between them, you're fine. On diagonals, I think they do closer to 8.5 tiles, but something like that doesn't look like it's going to work. But even then, the Valks do take the jump, and it's going to let them into that core, especially where the Teslas are, because it does connect to that as well. And it's just going to do a much better job than hogs will toward the end of a raid of taking care of them. And it's another attack where he uses all but one spell on his kill squad. I think he does have the one rage for the queen, but he knows that there's going to be a giant bomb up here in this raid. But just does a really good job keeping his hogs up, making sure that everything stays alive. He still has his queen up, he has his king up, he has a ton of hogs. There are some skeletons attacking his hogs, which is a little unfortunate. It's better to save a poison on that if you can. I think he had his dark spell factory upgrading, either that or he was missing his CC poison, but either way gets it done. And we'll fast forward just because he is at the end of his raid, but great job, Neon. That was a fantastic addition and change to the plan that I had, so well done. So next up we have Snow taking on number 15. This was actually my favorite attack of the war, just because he does such a good job picking apart the base in sections and just letting each part take care of itself. So you'll notice he only has 3 healers in this. We talk about 1-for-1 trades a lot in this game, dropping a loon on a cannon that's too far out so that you can get those 5 spaces for 1 defense. But dropping down one healer makes such a big difference. You're gaining 14 troop space, and if you're only dealing with 1 point defense at a time, it's really not a big deal. But if you look at this raid, he's going to have his queen take care of basically that entire northeastern section. He's going to have his hogs take care of the southeast side, and then his Valks are just going to run up the middle the entire time, tanking for everything. I'm pretty sure he doesn't lose a single hog until the very end, except maybe to a couple spring traps here and there. But basically has every spell lined up for all the troops that are going to be tanking. I think he had CC Valks as well. But he's going to have a jump that connects into the core. He heals his Valks really early, which too many people don't do. Having your Valks up, they're very tanky, but if you don't heal them early enough and you lose a couple, they lose their effectiveness really quickly. What makes them so good is that they attack buildings one really quickly and they can attack multiple at once, but the fact that they're doing it in a pack makes them go down in usually 1 or 2 swings. Once they start getting picked apart where there's only a handful left, they start taking them out in 4 or 5, even 6 swings, and they really don't do the job that they were supposed to because they're sitting in front of defenses for too long. But as you can see, his hogs came through I think he lost some to spring traps there, but everything was targeting the Valk, so he has a ton left over, and just lost one small little group there to the giant bomb. Takes them out, takes out the skeletons with a poison, and has everything left over for cleanup. You know, heroes almost all full health. He still has the queen ability, tons of hogs, a few Valks. Just a really solid attack and a great way of picking apart the base. So great job, Snow. Keep it up. All right, last one. Gonna be the want to throw in at least one Town Hall 8, just because, you know, a lot of clans still see it, and we certainly still do. So here we have Ogre taking on their number 19. Pretty common internet base, you know, pretty obvious that the double giant bomb set's there, but he's going to come in with a drag loon attack. The furthest air defense with a zap quake, mostly because the sweeper's facing that way. If the sweeper were facing the other direction, then he would probably take out this one. That way you can come at the air defenses sort of from the southeast side. And the only real problem I had with this was he doesn't funnel his dragons. It works out well, but I would have rather seen him take out that army camp and this one, and then just fill in the dragons in that northern section between. The dragons flake off a little bit, but it's not a huge deal, mostly because he has a lot of balloons coming in, and especially the max balloons. Those level 7 ones, they have so much health that they overwhelm Town Hall 8s, because as long as air defenses aren't targeting them directly, they can just last so much longer, and one drop from any of them destroys pretty much every Town Hall 8 building, at least as far as defenses go. But still, solid job. Sends in his loons at a great time so that they don't get targeted too quickly. Probably could have done a little bit earlier, that way they actually hit the air defenses rather than just wrap around the base and take out some of the other point defense. But it works out really well, and since dragons take a little while, we'll fast forward. But overall, really good war. I'm happy it panned out so well, especially considering we had two pretty large groups of people that have never warred with each other coming in, but overall, great job, and hopefully it continues. So, until next time, thanks for watching.